Ready to make fashion fireworks? Right now at Old Navy, get up to 60% off the entire store during Old Navy's Red, White, and New sale. Save big with items for $2, $4, $6, and $8, including women's tanks for just $2. And up to 60% off summer essentials like flip-flops, tank tops, swimwear, and shorts. Get more bang for your buck with up to 60% off your favorite all-American styles right now at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Select styles only. Entire store offer valid 6/28 to 7/5. Excludes clearance, gift cards, register lane items, jewelry, today-only deals, two-day only deals.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and you're listening to No BS Hiring Advice Radio. It's a time where I like to spend about 15 minutes midweek talking with you about some element of the hiring process, because I believe it doesn't have to be as hard, difficult, or painful, or take as long as it does. It's just the skills needed to find staff, well, frankly, are being undermined by systems that interfere with your ability to do it. So I'd like to give you some ideas over the course of a show designed to help you be more effective. Now, today's show is brought to you by two sponsors. The first one is Audible. And if you go to audibletrial.com/thebiggamehunter and sign up for a free trial of Audible, you'll get a free book as part of that trial. And I know you like podcasts. You listen to this show, my flagship show, Job Search Radio, maybe No BS Job Search Advice Radio. You listen to my stuff, so get an audio book and start listening to them, because they are great tools. And my second sponsor is consultingassignments.com. That's a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, and contract to hire opportunities anywhere in the world completely free. So here's a show about fishing for people. How do you get them to your firm? How do you get them on board? Now, I started by talking about systems that interfere with you getting what you say you want to. Let me use an example. You're hiring for a particular group within your firm. I don't care what size organization it is. You're hiring for a particular group within the firm. I'll use IT as an example. So you need someone with a particular skill set. They're going to interact with people in at least one other department. So you bring someone in, discover they're technically qualified. Now you're going to introduce them to someone from the business or from this other group that they're going to be interacting with. They may not be, and you may not be, on the same page with one another as to what each of you really needs. And until you get that kind of agreement or consensus, your interviews are like a huge black hole. I had something recently with a firm. They've been trying to fill a position for a long time. They filled it once badly. They became gun-shy. I introduced them to someone who, at the end of the day, he works for a competitor, and he's in the exact job for that competitor that they're trying to fill. They go back and forth a couple of times. They meet him socially because they know of him from one of the industry groups nearby. And what winds up happening is that staff who might have been involved or to whom they would report to him think he would be too tough. The people above him think he might be too soft. What were the measurements that caused such conflicts? How did that come about? The answer is the different constituencies weren't made clear to them what they were being asked to assess for. So the result wound up being confusion. Too soft, too tough. How does that happen? And that's exactly how it does. The different groups don't get clear about what the expectation is that they're going to be asked to interview for. So the result winds up being an individual who's clearly qualified, is put in limbo. It happens, but it doesn't have to happen. Both of you, as part of your assessment process and putting together a spec, representatives of both teams should become clear as to what they're going to be asked to evaluate for. what the right person will have accomplished and how it's going to be measured in the course of the interview. Without that, too much whim comes into play. So that's the first thing that you can be doing. Next thing is, go fishing where people are. So it's kind of like Sam Kinison was a comedian who died many years ago, and he used to make fun of the famine in Ethiopia that was going on at that point. And he would call attention to the fact that, there were all these kids who were begging at the camera for food. Like, why doesn't someone give them a sandwich? And his suggestion very simply was, you live in a desert. You live in a desert for thousands of years. That's what's been there. Move where the food is. Well, many of you aren't fishing where people are, and they've been moving. They're not just, answering ads on Monster or Indeed. They're not going to respond to emails so readily from LinkedIn. You have to find where your audience is and meet them where they are. Often that's going to wind up being Facebook and Twitter. You need to be able to develop relationships with people over the course of time and not be quite as transactional. I'm trying to fill a job. I think you have a background that would fit. Can we talk? Tell me how that's different than the transactional recruiters you make fun of and criticize in your relationships. So get to the places where people are. And I'm not going to list the whole litany of them because, frankly, what's right for one skill set is going to be completely different from another. But I want to point out, don't neglect trade groups. Trade groups are incredibly valuable for finding people. And in certain skills, you can find people on Facebook, on Twitter. You can find them in a whole host of areas, including meetups. So get out there and start networking with people and developing relationships proactively because you will need to talk to some of these folks. Next, flexibility. When you try to introduce people to your firm, does your firm have a hard-assed 9-to-5 culture, or can you offer a degree of flexibility where people can work remotely with regularity as long as they get the work done? Play that up because people like that these days. If it isn't one of your cultural values, that's fine. Be clear about what the expectations are. I had a person who left an organization not too long ago after 4 or 5 months. He'd spent 10 years with a previous firm. As much as he admired the new firm, he found that there was a cultural incongruity with one of his core values, so he wound up leaving and returning to the previous firm. Just get clear about what you want so that this way you don't wind up having to refill a position after they've left and come to yours. Now, another thing is instead of always thinking about how you can fill a job, always be thinking about building a pipeline of relationships for the kind of jobs you might be wanting to hire. So that's the point of networking, is to be out there talking and connecting with people so that they want to join your firm, and when you're ready, you can tap them on the shoulder and say, I think I've got something for you. Can we talk? So get clear with your willingness to network and put it into your repertoire of skills and capabilities and just block it onto your schedule. Don't care if it's an hour a week. You go to a cocktail party, you go to a meetup, you do some work online. Whatever it is, get out and about and start connecting with people. Now, when you're in there interviewing, don't settle. Don't make the mistake of compromising the skills that everyone has agreed to are essential and the personalities that will work in there well. Now, personalities is a funny thing because I'll simply say that most of you are not equipped to evaluate for fit. You think you are, but you're not equipped to evaluate. And I'll also go an extra layer. What you think is fit is, common agreement on obvious issues. Now, I I have a bug up my butt about the notion of fit, because there are business executives in this world who've created billions in value, and they're not exactly team players. They don't exactly fit in to any organization. They're wolves, pure and simple. So the result winds up being that you would have lost on billions of value by not hiring someone like Steve Jobs or Larry Ellison or Michael Dell. By the way, Michael Dell and Bill Gates don't have college degrees. Why don't you hire people without a degree who can do the job? You wouldn't have hired any number of great people because they wouldn't fit into your organization. So think in terms of not fit, but just qualifications and whether or not this person's smart enough. To me, renegades and atypical workers are wonderful because they have ideas different than the mean. You want to get some of those ideas into your organization. Next, motivate your staff to go out there and refer people to you. Motivate them with money, with prizes, awards, recognition, whatever you do. Encourage your team to provide referrals to your organization. So that this way you have a pipeline of in effect, pre-vetted individuals instead of just candidates who've applied for ads. Also, when you're talking with people, sell the job. Motivate them to want to join even if you choose not to hire them. Why do I say that? You get a talking sales force out there who say, "Oh man, I didn't get it. It was such a great firm." I had something like that with a client of mine where I was talking to someone who had interviewed with them 2 years before. I said, "Man, I'd love to work for them," because they did a great job of trying to create an impression. Also, make sure you give them an assignment to do that allows you to figure out whether they actually know what they claim to know. I had an architectural firm a year ago that was looking for a draftsman, and they gave someone and paid them to do a project for them and could critique them based upon the work that they did on the project. Pretty simple stuff to them, but there were folks who rushed through it and didn't take it seriously. They got a small remuneration, but they didn't get the job. So give them a homework assignment to do and see how they perform. Lastly, when someone's hired, your job isn't over. You want to make sure that they're integrated into your organization. Otherwise, they may hear a knock on their door of their former firm or a recruiter reaching out to them, and they're going to be very tempted to consider joining or minimally listening to the pitch because you haven't done a good enough job of integrating them into your organization. So those are some ideas of things you could be doing in order to be more effective with your fishing expeditions. So I hope you enjoyed this show. I'm Jeff Altman. Visit my website, thebiggamehunter.us. There's a lot more there that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you with staffing. And the thing that can really help you with staffing and with your hiring is me. Me, I tell you. So if you're trying to fill a position in the continental U.S., call me at 646-374-8656. Let's talk about your requirements. I'd love to help you firm staff positions. And if you're trying to fill positions outside of the U.S., I have relationships in Asia, in Western Europe, and in South Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean that might be helpful with filling jobs. Again, call me, 646-374-8656. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request at linkedin.com/IN/TheBigGameHunter. I accept connection requests from people worldwide, except if you look like a spammer or scammer, except if you're a third-party recruiter. So, this is Jeff Altman. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and hope you have a great day. Take care.
Ready to make fashion fireworks? Right now at Old Navy, get up to 60% off the entire store during Old Navy's Red, White, and New sale. Save big with items for $2, $4, $6, and $8, including women's tanks for just $2. And up to 60% off summer essentials like flip-flops, tank tops, swimwear, and shorts. Get more bang for your buck with up to 60% off your favorite all-American styles right now at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Select styles only. Entire store offer valid 6/28 to 7/5. Excludes clearance, gift cards, register lane items, jewelry, today-only deals, two-day-only deals. Ready to make fashion fireworks? Right now at Old Navy, get up to 60% off the entire store during Old Navy's Red, White, and New sale. Save big with items for $2, $4, $6, and $8, including women's tanks for just $2. And up to 60% off summer essentials like flip-flops, tank tops, swimwear, and shorts. Get more bang for your buck with up to 60% off your favorite all-American styles right now at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Select styles only. Entire store offer valid 6/28 to 7/5. Excludes clearance, gift cards, register lane items, jewelry, today-only deals, two-day-only deals.